And I like to get the show fittings done like a day before because because I work with smaller teams. Even with Victoria Beckham, we have a really small design team because it's all handwork, like super insane handwork. So we try to give ourselves a day, like a 24-hour period between the show and the fittings. It's really good if you can give yourself that breathing space. But a lot of people don't have that luxury of breathing space, and sometimes you have to fit up to the night before. But it's nice to give yourself a couple days. And then at the show, it's kind of like you're exhausted and you've been with this designer for a long, for days and days, for hours and hours, and you kind of start to this is me. I start to get like, oh my God, when is it gonna be over? You know, it's like you just want, because you've done all this work and I'm like really excited for I just want the show to start, you know? And you do rehearsals and do all that kind of fun stuff when you get there, and then but during show day, it's really about sticking. For me, I have to not get distracted by like what's going on with my biology when I'm tired, like cranky, exhausted, and I'm losing my voice, and I haven't eaten and haven't slept and all that kind of stuff. I have to remember like, okay, I'm holding my story, because that's when I start to get lazy, you know, and I'll be backstage and like, oh, this shoe broke. And instead of being like really creative and figuring out how to get a really good shoe to go on that look, I'll just be like, what do we have left? And even though no one else may notice, I totally notice, and I'm like, afterwards, and I beat myself up about it when I look at the lookbook, and I'm like, okay, I didn't hold the story. So what I've learned in the last couple of years is to like, despite my biology, being committed to the story and being committed to making every look as amazing as I possibly can, because on show day, we're pretty much problem solving. It means that something's gone wrong. Usually, like address the zipper break, like, oh, that's like my pet peeve is when they put something on at the show and the zipper breaks, and then like while the show's going on, and then you have 15 sewers sewing it up and trying to get her out in time, and you know, and it's like, I feel like sometimes because stylists, it's like a problem-solving extravaganza during the show day, and supporting the designer and because that's when the designer's really having anxiety because it's their name on the wall, it's their name in the review, and usually the stylist, very rarely does a stylist get critiqued, but the designer takes all of the critique, good and bad. And when it's good, it's amazing. And when it's bad, it's like, you know, it's just like, what do, you know? But I mean, it happens, and that's part of life, and that's how you learn. And when bad reviews happen, I always look at, okay, where was I responsible? What do I need to learn? Because that's all you can really do, you know? And sometimes, you know, I've been in this situation where it's like a personal vendetta. Like someone, there's this one reviewer that didn't like me because I stopped doing her friend show, because I got offered a huge job. I was like, and it was my friend. I was like, but dude, it's like, I'm getting like almost a 6-figure paycheck. I've got to do the show. Like, it's like my rent or not, like eat or not. And my friend got upset with me, and I stopped doing her show, and one of her editor friends was reviewing the other show I was doing, The Money Job, and she wrote the most, she was fine with the clothing because these people were big advertisers. She did styling. She was like, the styling was hideous, horrible. Like, she like drugged me over the coals. And I was just kind of giggling, and it was the first time I had designers call me and go like, Sally, we're so sorry. And I just started laughing. I was like, for what? I was like, I know that girl doesn't like me. It's fine. Like, I totally get it. It's a personal vendetta. So it's just like, that's like the whole fashion thing. It's the reputation, it's the identity, you know? And eventually that, like, because I kept doing more and more advertisers and stuff like that the editor couldn't write it anymore because the advertisers were like, stop, we're gonna stop advertising in your newspaper. Like, don't. And it was just like, it was one of those funny moments where I'm like, okay, that wasn't about me. That's totally about a situation, totally about something else. And luckily, like, it didn't hurt the designers. But then there, you know, there's times when there'll be a review. Like, I'm trying to think of one where I was like, it'll talk about something fussy, like something was fussy, or the gloves were too much, and it'll talk about the styling. And I really listen because these reviewers see so much. You know, I mean, I don't listen to everybody. I really listen to like Kathy Horn and Susie Menkes and the really respected ones, because they're not being, Kathy Horn can be nasty to be nasty sometimes, but they're pretty much just saying what they want to say because they're saying it. And they're not really a huge like agenda there. So Yeah, but you know, on show days, it's really about making the designer as comfortable as possible without like coddling them and like doing your job, you know, telling the story and getting the show out the way you want to get it out and with the way the designer wants it out. And then you can collapse in a heap in the corner after and drink champagne and then go home and wait for reviews. So yeah, and I mean, and again, it's like with shows, I think it's really important to gather like all of the results after that you were able to create, all the reviews, all the press coverage. If you can get sales information from if you're friends with the buyer there or the whoever does the sales directors, it's good to know how the collection's has done because they usually are doing the marketing. I mean the buying like a month after. Because when you go to other designers, you can say, oh, look what we did. Look what I did with them when I was working with them. And it ends up being huge. And then I think putting what shows you styled in your book is really important, like not in your portfolio, but on your online portfolio. Because people want to see, they want to know. And then like every other job, I think it's really important to do thank yous. The etiquette goes a long way. A long, long way.